Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Melty Memos. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite buttons in Melty, 2A and 5A, and go over some of the unique ways you can use them in pressure. Most of what I'll be talking about today only applies to Crescent and Half Moon characters, although regardless of who you play, this is still good stuff to know. So there's two key points to keep in mind about A normals before we can talk about using them in pressure. The first is that you can cancel laggy long-range normals into them in order to generate frame advantage. So you can see here that Works 2C is actually punishable on block if we don't do anything afterwards. But if we immediately cancel it into a Whiff 5A, she actually recovers much more quickly, and instead of being punished on block, we actually have a little bit of frame advantage. But that's not the end of the story, and that's because of the other cool property of A normals. They can be cancelled on Whiff into pretty much anything. Most people know that you can cancel A normals into themselves, that's how you mash 2A. But you can actually cancel A normals into other normals and specials as well, even on Whiff. And if you combine that with what we just talked about, then whiffing a 5A at the end of our block string doesn't necessarily mean our block string is over. In fact, we can keep going and continue mixing up our opponent. Here, I'm doing 2C and then whiffing 5A like before, but instead of just ending the block string here, I can actually whiff cancel the 5A into 5C. Now, instead of just ending the block string with frame advantage, I can actually keep going and try to catch opponents who are jumping out or trying to mash. At this point, some of you may be wondering what the point of whiff cancel block strings are, if you could just create frame traps by delaying your normals without introducing whiff canceling. For instance, I can create a 2C 5C frame trap without the whiff 5A in between by just delaying when I do the 5C. And while it's true that doing block strings that way doesn't incur a reverse speed penalty, I can actually create more ambiguity in my block strings by introducing whiff canceling. That's because I don't have to whiff cancel the 5A at all. Remember, 2C with 5A is plus on its own, so if I end the block string there, I'm still in a really good position to run back in and start my pressure all over again. However, I still retain the option to whiff cancel the 5A into 5C if I think they're going to mash. If I was just doing 2C 5C as my block string, a patient opponent could just wait, block any potential frame trap, and then we're back at neutral. Here, however, I could do 2C with 5A, and then my opponent has to make a choice. If they keep blocking, I could run back in and start a new block string, which is another opportunity for them not to block an overhead, or to get thrown. However, if they try to mash to beat me running back in, then I could whiff cancel the 5A into something like 5C and catch them mashing with a classic frame trap. I still have the option to frame trap with a 5C like before, except now I also represent running back in as an option as well. There's two things to be aware of when using this kind of pressure. The first is that any hits you do land are going to be heavily prorated because you'll be reverse beating quite a bit. This isn't a huge deal because you'll still get an Oki situation, but it's something to be aware of. The other thing to remember is that whiff canceling doesn't reset your current beat. If I do 2C with 5A, I can't do another 2C unless the 5A's animation finishes completely. In other words, I can't do 2C 5A whiff cancel 2C. The game thinks I'm still in the same block string even though I whiffed a normal, so I can't do another 2C unless my character resets to neutral. There's a lot more you can do with whiffing normals in Melty Blood than what I've talked about here, but hopefully these basics should get you started on thinking of ideas to use in Dojo. Thanks for watching the first episode of Melty Memos. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, feel free to let me know in the comments below or on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and remember to have fun.